yung utterances, yung nature ng utterances, may kinausap na ako, ma'am, huwag kang mag-alala. So, ibig sabihin, even before the questions was asked, may kinausap na ho ang Vice Presidente base doon sa utterances niya.
Again, what is the significance, if any, and if you know, and if at all, that fact to your investigation?
Well, it's very much significant because we were able to determine there is intent on the part of the Vice President. The Vice President is determined insofar as that statement is concerned. At the same time, the utterances were not product of a temporary fit of anger or spur of the moment. In other words, the utterances, the threat was real, was serious, Your Honor.
No. You remember during cross-examination yesterday, the good counsel for the defense presented you with a diagram using their props that the NBI is under the DOJ. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And that the DOJ is under the NBI is under the DOJ and the DOJ is under the President, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you were asked point blank whether the President, if they refer to the President as BBM, I would like to refer to our President as President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. You were asked if he intervened. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Did he, in fact, intervene, the President, to your investigation?
Objection,
if you
Your
know,
Honor,
if you
leading.
know, if you know,
Leading. Objection leading, Your Honor.
if you know,
Witness may answer.
None at all, sir.
what will you say that not at all?
Well, wala hong dumating sa akin na any information o any direction o any directive, even from the director, na nakipag-communicate ang presidente sa NBI during that time na nag-iimbestiga kami.
If you know, what is the basis of your findings in filing the cases for grave threats and inciting to sedition against the Vice President? If you know.
Ano, sir, what is the...
Basis of your findings.
Objection vague.
That the witness
Objection. There's an objection.
Understands, he may answer.
basis of the findings, well, as I have explained that, Your Honor, there were several factors that we considered before we come up into a conclusion. Yung una nga, yung manner, delivery, or the manner in which the utterances were spoken. And then the literal meaning of the statement, inexplain ko na rin ho yan. And then the nature of the instruction, relentless, huwag kang tumigil hanggat hindi mo mapapatay sila.
Alright.
As well as the relationship between the parties involved, meaning the Vice President and the President, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, earlier, the counsel for the defense, in their argument that it was merely an exercise of the freedom of expression of the Vice President, when she uttered that, and they said that the Vice President is an ordinary citizen. Do you remember that?
Objection
I
leading.
think so, Your Honor.
Your Honor, again, this is the purpose of
Witness may
redirect.
answer.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with that? That the Vice President is an ordinary individual?
Definitely not, Your Honor. The Vice President is the second highest official of the land, sir.
Okay, now, let's proceed. Mr. Witness, yesterday, the defense devoted more than 2 hours in pointing, for example, number one, an alleged discrepancy in the subpoena, okay, dated November 6, 2024, and according to the defense, the NBI supposedly started its investigation on November 23, but there was already a subpoena dated November 6. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Witness, how do you characterize this error, if at all?
Typo, sir. Typographical error, sir.
Typographical. Para maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan, Attorney Lotok, ano ba ibig sabihin kung alam mo ng isang typographical error?
Well, basically, hindi ito substantial insofar as the document is concerned. Ito yung may mga instance maling spelling o nagkamali lang ng date. Then pag makita mo naman dun sa surrounding circumstances, ito naman ang tinutukoy na date. Ugaya ng mga case numbers.
Case numbers. Now, what effect, if any, did this typographical error have on the statement of the Vice President threatening the President and the two others? What's the effect, if any, of these errors?
They don't have any effect at all insofar as the findings of the NBI is concerned, sir.
Why is that?
Well, because those typographical errors does not alter the fact that the video exists. It does not alter the fact that the Vice President uttered those statements. And it does not alter the fact that the findings of the NBI is that the Vice President committed the crime of grave threats and inciting to sedition.
Okay,
Your
now.
Honor.
Okay, now. You also, the defense also mentioned that there is a lack of signature of Attorney Ria Asuncion on one of the several minutes of the interview, this time with a certain Jason Rubrico of SMNI. How do you characterize that error again, if you know?
Typo, sir.
Typo
Typographical,
error.
sir.
What effect, if any, does that typo error have on the statements of the Vice President threatening the President and the two others?
Again, sir, hindi ho nabago yung utterances ng Vice Presidente. Hindi rin ho nabago yung video. Hindi rin ho nabago yung findings namin na indeed kumpleto yung mga ebidensya at ang Presidente ay nag-commit ng crime of grave threats and inciting to sedition.
Okay. Third point. What about the alleged discrepancy in docket numbers? How do you characterize that error?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness already testified during cross-examination that he was not privy to the assignment of docket numbers as that is the function of the DOJ. So he won't be competent to answer.
Your Honor, I do remember, despite that, the counsel asked several questions after that, and the witness was able to answer those questions.
Your Honor,
It's for the witness
Your
to answer
Honor,
that.
he mentioned, Your Honor, that he does not have personal knowledge.
In
Your
fact, Your Honor,
Counsel, if he gives a different answer, then you can address that in your
Yes, okay.
recross.
okay, sorry.
Witness may answer.
This discrepancy in the docket numbers, how do you characterize this error?
Again, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor, he won't be
in-
competent to answer that because
Oh.
docket numbers are assigned by the DOJ, not by the NBI.
Exactly, that's the
Again,
point.
counsel, let him answer. What if he answers that he's not competent, then that's his answer. Witness may answer.
Well, kung docket number lang ho ang pag-uusapan, hindi ho nawala yung existence ng video. Hindi rin ho nabago na ang Vice Presidente ay nagsalita na meron na siyang kinausap na tao.
Attorney Lotok, your answer is not responsive though. Kindly answer the question of the
Opo.
counsel.
Okay, how do you characterize that error?
Typographical error.
Okay, next
sir.
question. What effect, if any, does that typographical error have on the statements of the Vice President threatening the President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., His Excellency, and the two others?
No effect at all, Your Honor. Hindi ho na-alter yung utterances ng Vice Presidente.
Okay, now, let's go to the affidavits of investigation, which the good counsel mentioned in yesterday's cross-examination. During your cross-examination, you were asked questions concerning the January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation. After that affidavit was submitted, now the question is, what action, if any, did the Department of Justice take, and if you know?
The Department of Justice evaluated the referral by the NBI. And then after evaluation, nag-issue po sila ng certification na kulang pa, insufficient yung inyong sinubmit. So dapat i-comply niyo muna itong mga requirements na to. So nagbigay ho sila ng, I think 7 ho ang nandoon. Yun po ang ginawa ng Department of Justice.
All right. Now, what did the NBI do, if any, in response to that recommendation from the DOJ?
The NBI complied the requirements of